about a medium rating for wear. You know, there's wear, but it's still playable. It doesn't sound too horrible. Get rid of the needle. And last, I have one I wanted to test here. It's actually a lot older than the machine, but that's okay. Machine will play it. And this is another copy of John McCormack's Send Me Away with a Smile. That actually looks pretty good, too. Send Me Away with a Smile was a big hit for John McCormack during the World War I, the Great War era. And must have 5 copies of this at least. Probably do. Not all of them play perfectly, but then that's the way it is when you're dealing with records that are over 100 years old. I mean, think of how many cassette tapes and 8-tracks will still be playing 100 years from now. Probably not too many. Although I think CDs will probably last a long time because there's no moving parts, nothing to wear. You know, unless, of course, you sit on them or you scrape them up and scratch them, keep them in their little jewel cases, and find a machine that can still play them 100 years from now. They'll probably still play just fine. You know, with the laser needle there. All right, John McCormack, Send Me Away with a Smile. You can see it's actually a pretty clean looking record, but you never can tell. Just because it looks clean doesn't mean it is actually good down in the grooves and hasn't been played to death. Hopefully it hasn't. Well, that may be one of the nicest copies of that song I have. That was very clean. A very sad song, of course, about the PALS battalions of the First World War. That was a British idea about having all the men from one location serve together. Figured it would bolster their morale and all of that, but what really happened was all the men from one location went over the top one morning and were wiped out. Sometimes all of them, sometimes most of them. And a village would get notices, not for 1 or 2 fatalities. No, they would get a dozen, like everybody. I can only imagine what that must have been like. But there you go. That's the test of that reproducer, and I'm going to continue playing records on this, of course, for quite a few days to make sure nothing shakes loose. And then we will get to the reproducer that actually belongs on this machine. Same reproducer, but it has the Electrola markings on it. That is waiting. I wanted to do this one first so I can get it back where it belongs, and then we will do the other one. But that's it for this morning. With the Electrola and the HMV all brass number 4 reproducer, testing the reproducer. I don't know if you can see the markings. See these ones, these later ones, they put the markings on the back, you know. And the early ones were on the front, which I liked better, but they both work beautifully, and this is all brass, so there's never any pot metal issues. It's one thing about this particular machine, with the reproducer it came with, not a single piece of pot metal on this machine anywhere. Not in the motor, not in the reproducer, nothing. So you don't have to worry about pot metal issues like you did with the later ones that came with pot metal reproducers. Bane of my existence. Alrighty, there we go.